Hi everyone, it's Diabetic Danica, and I am finally making the video answering all your questions about the Animas Vibe. If you didn't see my initial review of the Animas Vibe, I will put a link to that video below. Basically, I go over all the things that I like about it, that are different about it compared to the Ping, and things that I don't like about it, blah 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 blah, all my opinions. Check it out, and for now, let's answer your questions. Really quick before I get into the questions, actually, I just wanted to say something really quick about the accuracy of the CGM on my Vibe. In my last video where I was reviewing the Vibe, I said that I felt like the numbers had been off more frequently from my meter number than I was used to. Like I felt like it was basically not being as accurate. And I figured out the reason for that. The transmitter battery, so the battery on the part actually on my body, was dying basically, and I had to get a new one, and that just happens every however many months you have to get a new one, and that's what had been happening. So I got a new one and it's been super accurate, just like the Dexcom has always been for me, so yay! Now on to the questions. So let's just jump right into it. Savannah Fitzgerald asked, did you have any more pumps from different companies, or were you always with the company you have now? I thought this was a great way to open up the video because yes, I have always had an Animas pump. And so I think that's a good disclaimer, because while I do a lot of research into other pumps and I really look into them and I listen to other people's opinions that have used those pumps, I've never personally used any of them. And I'm a little bit interested in using the T-Slim once it gets to Dexcom integration. But since the Animas pump is the only one with Dexcom integration right now, I'm just definitely sticking with them for a while. A couple people asked me, is there a glucose meter that will wirelessly sync your numbers with the Animas Vibe pump? No, that's the main difference between the Animas Vibe and the Animas Ping. The Animas Vibe gets your CGM numbers, whereas the Animas Ping has the linked remote, so that's the one that you can bolus from, and that is a remote for the Ping. Diabetic Girl 523 says, the one thing she really likes about the Animas One Touch Ping is that they can make their own sounds for it on the computer and then sync it with the pump. Is that still true with the Vibe? No. As far as I know. I actually never did that with the Animas Ping, making your own like alert sounds and stuff, but I think I heard from someone else that you can't do that on the Vibe, but you can always call Animas and ask just in case I'm wrong, because I just don't do that feature. But she also asked, can you customize low and high alarms? So this brings up a really good point that I forgot to mention in my initial review of the Animas Vibe. I forgot to say the one thing that's kind of unfortunate about it is they don't have different alarms for highs and lows, and that's one thing I really liked about the Dexcom, is that even if I didn't look at the Dexcom right away but I heard an alarm, I would know what was going on. So they had a different sound for high, a different sound for low, a different sound for super super low. This one has the same alert whether it's telling you you're high, you're low, you're dropping. I assume if you use the rising alarm, that one would be the same. The only one that's different is if you're below 55. It has more of like an alert tone. So it's kind of hard because I hear the alarm, and before I used to be like, oh, I'm high, and I look. Now it's like, is that my high or my low alarm? I have to look in the screen and see if it's saying you're above or below the user limit. So that's kind of unfortunate. I don't know why they changed that. Two people also asked about wearing a dress now that I can't bolus through the meter. So if you're wearing something like a dress and you are out, then how would you bolus without going to the washroom or the bathroom? You can't, basically. For me, it was worth the trade-off. Basically, I don't wear dresses that often, probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year, maybe. Most of my outfits have pockets, or I can at least clip my pump to my waistband, so it wasn't a big trade-off for me. Everyone's different though, so for me it was worth to have the CGM instead of being able to wear a dress and not have to go to the bathroom to bolus. So now I haven't worn a dress really since I've had the Animas Vibe, but when I do, I know I'll probably be a little bit annoyed. But basically, I had the pump before the Animas Ping too, and obviously, I mean, that one didn't have a meter remote, and so I'm kind of used to that struggle already. I haven't been spoiled, in a sense, with the Animas Ping, because I know what it's like to not have that already. So it's not like to me that's an added bonus, but it's not like a baseline that all pumps have type of thing, which maybe it should be, but if you get what I'm saying, I'm kind of used to it. So it's an added inconvenience, but we'll see. Maybe I'll make a video after I wear a dress for the first time with the Vibe, because also, how are you gonna see your blood sugars if it's like underneath your clothes? Basically, I think I'd have to pair up my Dexcom receiver that I have. Otherwise, that'd be kind of annoying. John Paul Sewell said that he uses the Medtronic Revel system with the CGM and the Enlight sensors. Do you think there is merit to upgrading to this newest system, meaning upgrading to the Vibe? I don't think one is like considered, I mean, I guess one's newer than the other, but I'd say they're both kind of like, that's their most recent pump, right? Like the Medtronic and the Animas in the US, not in other countries. But basically, I haven't heard the best things about Medtronic sensors from people who have worn both the Dexcom and the Medtronic Enlight sensors. I know they've gotten a lot better, the Medtronic ones, than they used to be, where they used to hurt a lot and were super inaccurate. I think they're more accurate now, but I think, from what I've heard, I haven't used it, but the Dexcom, from what I hear, is the most accurate one that people have found, and so I think I just really want to stick with that. Michelle Bustiker, however you say that, does this still take 2 hours for the startup time for the sensor? Yep. Tabitha Lewis said, do you recommend the Vibe to a diabetic that has never had a CGM? Do you think I should get the Dexcom before I get the Vibe? I guess it depends like what you're ready for. I think personally, if I was to start on the pump and the CGM at the same time, I think that'd be very overwhelming just because they're two things that you have to learn, basically. And so I think you don't have to have the Dexcom separately by any means. I don't see why you would in terms of like learning it, you know, for those type of reasons. If you want it for other reasons, like you want your parent to be able to have a receiver or whatever. But just for learning reasons, I think you could still get the Vibe, but I would say like get the pump part first set up and put in and get used to using that, and then put in a Dexcom later once you're used to the pump, and then add that feature. That's just for me personally how I think it would be a little bit easier to adjust. Alex Parnell asked, would this be a good first pump? It is easy to use and figure out. Yeah, I mean, any pump would be a good first pump. Their point is to like make it so that you can figure out how to use it and you're trained on it when you first get it and all that. So it's just a matter of picking the features that you like the best. Justin Bonus said, how do I get one of these pumps / CGMs in the UK? The National Health Service doesn't like handing out these pumps. I would just say ask your doctor. Go to your doctor and say, hey, I really want the pump and the CGM combo. How do I go about doing this? I've heard from a lot of people that it's next to impossible unless you are made of money, basically, in the UK. But yeah, obviously I don't live in the UK. So if you live in the UK and you want to let this person know how you got the pump and CGM, if you have it, comment down below and let them know. Tyler Smith said, do you know how much the pump costs? Because I'm looking into getting one, or does it depend on insurance? It does depend on insurance. You know, my pump, when I first got it, the whole price I think is around $8,000, and then my insurance covered 80% of that, I think. And then my grandparents helped out, and my parents obviously bought the rest for me because I was like, how old? 14 or whatever. So it definitely depends on your insurance. 3 different people asked if the Vibe has 1 site or 2 on your body. It's still 2. It's still a Dexcom, it's still a pump site, but all the information is going to 1 pump. Hal Staniloff said the Vibe does not come with the 505 software upgrade. Do you know if the Vibe CGM software is user upgradable? As far as I know, it's not. I think that the Vibe is a little bit outdated in terms of the software upgrade, just because Dexcom has upgraded a little bit since then, and the FDA took so long to approve the Vibe that now the software is slightly outdated. But it's the software I've been using all along, so obviously I haven't noticed a difference. But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna like release a new pump with the new, when the G5 comes out. The G5 is the new Dexcom down the road. I don't know if they'll like make a new pump too. We'll see, but yeah, for now it's just the G4 software. Captain Murphy 1977 said, anyone know if anyone makes an intrinsically safe pump, aka explosion proof? Well, I mean, people aren't really explosion proof, so I don't see why your pump would have to be. But they're waterproof, the Animas ones. Jose E. Hernandez asked, is there an insulin pump that can measure your sugar levels and deliver exactly the quantity of insulin you need? You're thinking of the artificial pancreas, and that is still in clinical trials. Darren Child said, do you miss your meter remote? Honestly, no, not really. Dave Teeter said, is the Reservoir limited to 200 units as opposed to the MiniMed 722, which has a 300 unit reservoir? Yeah, basically when you change your set, change your insulin all out, and after you prime it, there's about 180 units in the pump. But that's plenty for me. If I had any more, I think the insulin would go bad before I could use it. Ashley Beal asked, does the Vibe come with an inserter for the infusion set? Yeah, the sets are the same that I've been using the whole time. If you don't have a pump, you probably don't know. The sets come from a different company and in a different way than the pump. So with the pump, you get everything that I had in that unboxing video, and then you order your sets separately, your Dexcom sensors separately. So it's the same sets I've always been using with a little squeezy inserter thingy. Connor McMillan asked, do you really have to be at least 18 to get the Animas Vibe because it's only approved for adults? And my answer would be technically yes, but I've heard that doctors can prescribe off-label in a way, so basically you're less than 18 but they think you could really use it and they can still prescribe it. I'm not 100% sure on that because I'm not under 18, so go ask your doctor. And finally, Diabetic Directioner asked, have you given it a name yet? I'm pretty sure I haven't. If you've been watching me for a while, you probably know that I usually give my pumps names and my CGMs names, and I've been having to get kind of a lot of them recently, and so I've kind of just like cared a little bit less about what I name them. So I don't think this one has a name. But you know what? I trust you guys. What do you want to name this little thing? What does it look like, a boy or a girl? I know it's pink, but come on. It could be a boy. Thoughts? Alright, that is everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Bye! Notice anything different? Maybe? I cut my hers. It hasn't been this short in a really long time, so I was like super scared that I was gonna cry and be devastated. But I wasn't. I actually really like it, and it's perfect in time for summer.